Hello and welcome to Burned Out Who Me. This is a masterclass day 1, August 16th, 2022. I'm delighted that you are here. My name is Diane Lynch and I recently started my business, Sacred Earth Science, Healing Ourselves and the Planet. I believe that those people who are working in the environmental field are the ones that are going to be able to help us quicker get out of the problems that we have, the challenges that we have because of global climate change. But I believe we have to do it differently. As Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. So we need to do it differently. We need a new way, a new paradigm in order to be successful. And what does that look like? Well, science provides us with tools and technology, and we are very grateful for all that we can get from science. But spirituality gives us vision and values, and that's something that's really important as we are using science to deal with the climate change issues. My business is focused on environmental professionals and leaders so that they can access their own wisdom and integrate it with Eastern, Western, and Indigenous science and traditions. I've been in the trenches with you for the last 25 years. I've worked for the nonprofit sector, grant writing and raising funds for it. I've worked as a lobbyist on environmental issues. I've worked as a project manager on environmental projects, as well as the administrator of watershed districts. And I can tell you that each one of those jobs gave me a tremendous amount of stress. And during my tenure in these different positions, I was looking for a way so that I could feel balanced, so that I could do the work that I needed to do and feel that I was not giving up myself in the process. That's why I was drawn to self-development programs. I have trained with wellness and spirituality experts from around the world, and what I'm bringing you today is some of that information. So the purpose of the workshop today is to introduce you to the whole field of mindfulness. I'm going to give you some easy techniques that you can use at a moment's notice. The workshop itself is 45 minutes, so 30 minutes of materials, 15 minutes of Q&A, and it will be recorded. I will send you the link. What I will do is focus on key concepts and then actual practices that I will ask you to do with me. First of all, let's go through introductions. State what your name is, your position, organization, country or state, and what you'd like to gain from this workshop. The stress response. Oh my gosh, we've all had a lot to deal with in our lives. For me, it was the pandemic that really ramped things up. We respond to stress in a variety of ways. Oftentimes we blame the situation for what we are feeling, but we're not victims. We can actually choose how we are responding to the stress. And how we respond to the stress is directly related to what's going on in our minds. So we are all compulsive thinkers, especially scientists, and we are continually trying to figure things out, working with the information we have, doing research, etc. If someone were to ask you, though, who are you? What would you say? Do you identify with your mind? Do you think that you are your mind? Well, scientists say that each human being has about 60,000 thoughts per day. Holy smokes. And what are those thoughts? Well, they're in a voice in our head that complains, judges, likes and dislikes just about everything. It's our conditioned mind. It's based upon past history and a cultural mindset. I know that when I'm out in the woods walking on a path, I'm looking at the different plants and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that plant is a weed, or that plant is beautiful wildflower, and why haven't they done a better job of maintaining this path, etc. So we all have these little voices going on in our heads. 80% of the voices that are going on in our heads are negative. And why is that? It's because we have a negativity bias. We are more likely to think negatively rather than positively. They're Velcro for the negative, and we're Teflon for the positive thoughts. And of those 60,000 thoughts, 95% are repetitive. So they're the same thought that you had yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. So it's a vicious circle. How do we get control of these thoughts? Because there's so many and they're coming so fast. How do we do that? Well, one of the keys is don't believe everything you think. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. Your thought might be based upon perceptions, your memory, and what other people have told you. When you realize that you are not your thoughts, there's a tremendous amount of freedom in there. Zen Master Chu said, if you want to know your own mind, there is only one way. You have to observe it. Recognize everything that goes on. Do it continually. When you do this, you will reach a higher level of consciousness about yourself. We all have neural pathways because of the repetitive thoughts that we have. We have neurons and dendrites that are growing based upon our habits and behaviors. So the dendrites will expand given what we are doing. They underlie how we think and how we act. And they can be a rabbit hole for us. So if something triggers it, a thought, and then you go down that same old rabbit hole and the repetitive thoughts, and you go around and around and around. But this can be changed once you are aware of what's going on. The life that you live is the life that you're thinking about, the life that you believe. And if you don't like it, you need to change it. Wayne Dyer was a renowned author and speaker in self-development. And one of the things he said was change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. It's kind of profound, isn't it? It's like, well, so how do you do that actually? Well, one of the ways is, for this example, think of a colleague at work, and maybe she's driving you absolutely nuts. Her behaviors, her attitudes, etc. So sit down and write down all the negative things you're thinking about this person. But to be fair, make a column that says positive things. So write down the positive things about her. And then for the next 2 days, when you are thinking of her, when you're interacting with her, only focus on the positive things. The best you can do, the positive, just kind of be vigilant with yourself. And I will bet you after 2 days are up, you're thinking better about her. And I bet you that she is responding differently to you because she's picking up on that vibration from you. Just breathe, another key concept. Breath is simply not what it is that keeps us alive. Of course it is. It's one of those things that it does for us. It's something that we hold when we get anxious. It's something we speed up when we're also anxious. But it's the bridge which connects our life to awareness. So when your mind becomes scattered, use your breath as a means to take hold of your mind again. So let's think of going into a meeting that you're really worried about. It's going to be a lot of people in there and it's very controversial and you're thinking of going in. What you can do is stop and breathe and count your breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just count your breaths. You can't think of anything else while you are counting. So if you're going to do that, you will be stepping into that meeting in a much better place than you were when you were thinking about stepping into that meeting. Another key is to notice what you are noticing. Notice what you are noticing about your thoughts and feelings. So when thoughts or feelings crop up, don't chase them away. Don't worry about them. Don't hate them. Don't ignore them. Just acknowledge that they're there. So a feeling of sadness is inside of me, or I'm feeling really anxious. The essential thing is to recognize what is your feelings and your emotions are, to have that awareness. And then if you want to do something about it, you can. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm feeling really sad, I'm a little depressed. Oh, I noticed that. Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll go and take the dog for a walk, or I'll go pet the cat, or I'll go play with my kids. Again, you don't have to stay in that situation if you don't want to stay, as long as you recognize what's going on. And so you've caught it. So you've noticed what you're noticing. Meet Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart has been a prolific writer. He has the contributions of many of the major religions around the world, but he doesn't, he's not aligned with anyone. But what he talks about is the current moment. The moment that we have right now is the only moment that we have. We don't have the past, it's gone. It's the trail you left behind, it's in the rearview mirror. We don't have the future, it's not here yet. All we have or have ever had is now. In his book, he talks about being upset about something, you know, that you're in pain. And he'll ask, how do you feel right now? And what about now? And what about now? And if you are really honest, each moment, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with each moment because you are focused on what's happening right now. You're really clear about that. Our ego gets stuck in the past or in the future. It wants to keep the past alive because without it, who are you? It wants to keep the future in its ahead of it because it's continually thinking about how it's going to survive and seek fulfillment. So it says, in the future, I will be okay. I will be happy. I will be at peace. But you can all be all of those things right now, in the moment. Thich Nhat Hanh was a Buddhist monk who wrote a lot about the topic of mindfulness. And what he talks about is that mindfulness is a miracle. It is the way to free ourselves fully each moment. So we need to be one with each minute of life, like we were talking about earlier with Eckhart Tolle, being in the now. Be conscious of each breath. When you are busy and you're angry, you're frustrated, you aren't your best self. You can't use your best judgment. But when you are fully focused on one thing, you are working to your maximum benefit. So he talks about being conscious of each breath, every moment, and being conscious of your thoughts and your feelings. So use your breath to bring your mind back under control. The sutra of mindfulness is simply this: when you're walking, be conscious that you're walking. When you're sitting, be conscious that you're sitting. When you're lying down, be conscious that you're lying down. So I'm going to review some practices with you right now. And I have this picture of the elephant with the baby elephant because the point is that we take baby steps with these things. We're breaking new ground here, some of us. It's not like when you have your New Year's resolutions and 2 weeks after New Year's, you've decided to give up on, let's say, losing weight because it's too hard. You weren't really serious about it. You'd rather eat that bag of chips or whatever. And then you just give up and you wait till the next year. What we're talking about is things that are really important to focus on. They will really cut down the stress in your life if you learn to do them and you are able to catch what's going on in your mind. So again, baby steps. Don't give yourself a hard time. Just keep at it as best you can. So the first practice is mindfulness. And what I'd like you to do is spend a minute or so and write down what routine that you do at home you're going to practice mindfulness with. The example here is taking any routine and giving it full attention, such as washing your hands. So pay attention to the senses associated with the activity, the sound of the water, the feel of the water, the smell of the soap, how you're moving your hands, etc. This is called awakened doing. The next practice is pay attention to your thoughts. So, what you'd like to do for this one is to pay particular attention to any thoughts right now that are going on in your head. So, I want you to pay attention to what's happening right now. Listen to them without judging them. Realize that they have a voice. And as you listen to the thought, feel a conscious presence underneath the thought. So you're being the observer of yourself, of thoughts that are going on in you, but you're observing them. Once you start doing this regularly, it will be the end of compulsive thinking. So observe your thoughts for the next 2 minutes. What did you notice? Practice number 3. So how are you feeling right now? Pay attention to that. Let's say that you're feeling stressed. There's a way to get out of that. There's something called the emergency breath practice. It's the 4x4. So I will do this with you. So what you need to do is keep your back straight, find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Take a deep breath to the count of 4. Count to 4 as you inhale through your nose. Count to 4 as you hold your breath. Count to 4 as you exhale through your mouth. Do this several times and then check in with yourself and see how you feel right now. Do you feel any different? Practice number 4 is similar to a meditation. It's a relaxation practice. And it's one that you can easily do at any time. And I would encourage you to do it for 5 minutes a day. It's very easy because as I go through it, it's a visualization. You will be able to pick it up. And if it helps, you can put some music on, and I'll do that here in a moment. So sit comfortably. Keep your eyes focused a yard or 2 in front of you. And close your eyes. Begin to follow your breath. Relax your muscles. Concentrate on keeping your spine straight. Follow your breath. Let go of everything that is in your mind. Imagine that you are a pebble that was just thrown into a stream. You slide through the water effortlessly. Detached from everything, the pebble falls by the shortest distance possible, reaching the bottom, the point of perfect rest. You are like the pebble which has let itself fall into the stream, letting go of everything. Follow your breath. When you feel yourself resting, like the pebble on the riverbed, you will feel relaxed. You are no longer pushed or pulled by anything. Follow your breath. When you are feeling totally relaxed, thank your body for its work. And remember this feeling throughout the day. Practice it for at least 5 minutes. So do you have any questions at all? Thank you for being a part of this workshop today. I will see you tomorrow. I will send you the link of the recording of this presentation. I'll also send you the practice exercises at the end of the workshop. Thank you so much for participating, and we'll see you tomorrow.